A brand new limited character, a petite character that walks on barefoot, performs counterattacks, deals physical damage, and follows the destruction path. Jokes aside, Yunli is finally here, a damage dealer that introduces a new reactive playstyle to your turn-based gameplay experience. In this guide, we'll figure out the strengths and weaknesses of Yunli, give additional tips to maximize her performance, and of course, list down her best light cones, relics, and planar sets. If you found the guide helpful, consider liking the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on up-to-date information. I always read everyone's comments, so feel free to ask questions that were not answered in the video. Without further ado, a sword hunter from the Xianzhou Ziming and the Flaming Heart, General Huai Yan's darling granddaughter, frank and straightforward. She has learned swordsmanship and forging from Huai Yan since young, and thus is the second youngest prodigy swordmaster of the Flame Wheel Octet. Fueled by an intense loathing for the cursed swords that emerged from the Ziming, she vowed to hunt down and wipe out all cursed swords. Yunli is a 5-star physical element character that specializes in taunting enemies, tanking hits for the team, and performing counterattacks to deal massive amounts of AoE physical damage. She follows the destruction path. Yunli's kit and gameplay is far from being complex. All you need to know is that you need to react to the enemy's attack and parry them with her ultimate. Primarily, you need to be aware of the queued actions in the action bar and react to incoming attacks accordingly. Of course, this isn't limited to attacks the enemy performs on their own turns. For example, using Yunli's ultimate before attacking an enemy that can perform counterattacks will allow Yunli to unleash her strongest counterattack easily. As mentioned already, the main reason why you'd want to parry incoming attacks with her ultimate is so that Yunli can unleash her strongest counterattack called Intuit Call. If you fail to parry an attack with Yunli's ultimate, she would unleash Intuit Slash instead, which is a significantly weaker counterattack. Yunli can still perform counterattacks without her ultimate through her talent, but it deals significantly less damage compared to any of her ultimate counters. Note that Yunli automatically unleashes her ultimate's counterattack after an ally or an enemy ends their turn. This means that you can accidentally have Yunli perform Intuit Slash by using her ultimate too early or by using it against an enemy attack that does not directly damage Yunli. If you want to force Yunli to perform her strongest counterattack without parrying an attack, you can do that through her A2 trace, Fiery Wheel. This major trace allows Yunli to replace Intuit Slash into Intuit Call if she used Intuit Slash twice in a row. Aside from that, here are other things you need to know about Yunli. All of Yunli's attacks are the blast type except for her basic attack. The damage she deals on the adjacent targets is half the damage she deals on the main target. Whenever Yunli uses her ultimate, she automatically taunts all enemies, becomes immune to crowd control, and reduces incoming damage. This would last until before she launches her counterattack. Yunli has a massive energy capacity of 240, but her ultimate only consumes 120 energy. This could be worrying, but Yunli doesn't have energy issues at all. For example, using her ultimate, getting hit, and performing a counterattack allows Yunli to regain at the very least 35 energy. 5 energy refund from using ultimate, 5 or more energy from getting hit, 15 energy from her talent, and 10 energy from performing a follow-up attack. Obviously, if the enemy attack provides 15 energy, then Yunli could regain up to 45 energy within this pattern. Her skills heal herself, while her technique allows her to immediately perform her strongest counterattack, Intuit Call, at the start of battle on a random enemy. This specific attack has its damage increased by 80%. It is easy to get confused when trying to identify what type of attack Yunli performs. To understand her kit better, think of her ultimate as Topaz's ultimate and her counterattacks as Numbi. Technically, Yunli's ultimate is a buff that enhances her follow-up attacks just like Topaz uses her ultimate to enhance Numbi. For example, Even though Yunli gets a free Intuit call from her technique, this doesn't register as using her ultimate despite the fact that the damage it deals is considered ultimate damage. It would instead register as a follow-up attack. This distinction is important when it comes to her gearing. This is Yunli's light cone ranking. As expected, Yunli's best light cone is her signature, Dance at Sunset. It increases her chances of getting hit and provides a reliable 36% increase in critical damage. When the wearer uses their ultimate, it would provide a 36% follow-up attack damage increase for 2 rounds and can stack up to 2 times. Remember what I said earlier, the only time Yunli uses her ultimate is when she casts her ultimate, not when she performs her ultimate counterattacks. This means that to be able to stack the LC's effect, Yunli must cast her ultimate a second time before the buff duration runs out. Yunli's second best light cone would be Blade's signature, the Unreachable Side. It provides a good amount of critical rate which helps Yunli a lot. Yunli's ultimate provides a 100% critical damage increase to her ultimate counters, so you wouldn't want Yunli to miss any critical hits at all. Since Yunli wants to parry enemy attacks, she will benefit from the other effect that increases her next attack's damage by 24%. Then, we have Yunli's best free-to-play light cone, Fall of an Aeon. The attack increase it provides is easy to stack with Yunli's counterattacks. Even her technique already provides 1 stack on battle entry. However, the LC's other effect is counterintuitive to Yunli's gameplay, as you wouldn't want to rush breaking the enemy's weakness. Any weakness break delays the enemy's action by 25% by default, which automatically means that you are reducing the enemy's attack frequency the faster you break them. The other options are straightforward, but it is worth noting that Clara's signature light cone at rank 2 easily beats a rank 5 Fall of an Aeon. For the Cavern Relics, Yunli's best option is 4-piece Valor. Her second best option would be 4-piece Pioneering, being 1 to 2% behind. Do note that Yunli's taunt instantly disappears just before she launches her ultimate counterattack, so you should not take it into account when maximizing the effect of 4-piece Pioneer. Grand Duke and Champion set are 7 to 8% weaker than the first 2 options. I am being lenient with Grand Duke, but it could be much worse. There are 2 major reasons why Grand Duke is a really bad option for Yunli. First, Grand Duke's 4-piece effect resets as soon as the wearer performs a follow-up attack. Second, Yunli's counters are all single-hit nukes with the exception of Intuit Call and its bounce attacks. So for example, even if Yunli successfully parries an attack with her ultimate, the initial hit would only benefit from 1 to 3 stacks of Grand Duke's 4-piece effect. Only the bounce attack afterwards would get the most benefit. Then, if the enemy attacks Yunli again and triggers her talent, she would reset the stacks, which means her skill would barely benefit from Grand Duke's set effects at all. I highly suggest avoiding this relic set for Yunli. Aim for a critical rate body and attack main stat for the boots. For the Planar set, Yunli's best option is Duran. This is assuming you can get it to maximum stacks quite fast, like pairing Yunli with another character that utilizes follow-up attacks. If you want something more reliable, then you can go for Sal Soto, which is around 4% behind. The reason why Sal Soto isn't her best Planar is due to the fact that the 15% damage boosts do not stack on her ultimate counters. However, Sal Soto makes building critical rate stats easier. You can go for either attack or energy regeneration rope. Go for a physical damage sphere. Yunli's first Eidolon increases the damage dealt by her ultimate counters by 20%. Additionally, it increases the bounce attack of Intuit Call by 3. This means that the bounce attacks would go from 432% to 648%, which drastically improves Yunli's potential against a single target. Yunli's second Eidolon allows all her counterattacks to ignore 20% of the target's defense. In a vacuum, this translates to an 11.7% overall damage increase, but remember that as you get closer to 100% defense shred, this effect becomes more potent. For example, if you have 80% defense shred through external sources, then adding this Eidolon into the equation will provide Yunli a 22% overall damage increase. Yunli's 4th Eidolon increases her own effect resistance by 50% after launching any of her ultimate counters. The problem with Yunli is that she cannot cleanse crowd control effects on her own unlike Clara, so this Eidolon drastically reduces the chance of Yunli getting disabled. After all, not being able to counter at all would make Yunli perform poorly. Yunli's final Eidolon allows any enemy action to trigger her strongest counter attack coming from her ultimate. For example, there are enemies that buff up other enemies or inflict status effects on your characters without dealing any damage directly. Such enemy actions will allow Yunli to trigger Intuit Call instead of Intuit Slash. Additionally, when dealing damage through her ultimate counters, the critical chance is increased by 15% and would penetrate the enemy's physical damage resistance by 20%. There are two major factors to figuring out Yunli's best teammates. First, her heavy focus on performing follow-up attacks. 2. Her extremely massive energy capacity. Robin easily comes to mind when trying to improve the performance of characters that utilizes follow-up attacks. Then, there's Huo Huo, whose energy regen synergizes well for both Yunli and Robin's massive energy capacity. Huo Huo in particular is extremely good with Yunli due to the fact that her ultimate can provide Yunli 48 energy, which is almost as good as a non-E6 Qingyun ultimate. Then, the last slot is flexible. It could be a teammate that could further improve Yunli's performance, or a second damage dealer since Robin's team-wide buffs will be able to support both of them. For example, Topaz would be great if you want more single-target damage. Topaz providing 50% vulnerability to Yunli's counterattacks would drastically improve her performance. In return, Yunli's follow-up attacks will improve the attack frequency of Nambi. If you want more AoE damage, then Jade has a strong synergy with Yunli. Yunli will be able to provide up to 3 stacks for Jade every time she acts since all of her attacks are blast type. If you want to improve Yunli's performance further, you can choose between Qingyun, Sparkle, or a Defense Shredder. Qingyun for more energy. Her Benediction would also proc more frequently due to Yunli's follow-up attacks. Sparkle so Yunli can act more frequently. More actions mean more energy. There is also the fact that Sparkle's skill buff lasts even outside of Yunli's turns, which synergizes with Yunli's counterattacks. Defense Shredders for obvious reasons. Their debuffs could be more potent if Yunli has her second Eidolon unlocked. Lastly, it is worth mentioning that Yunli has a strong synergy with an Abundance character equipped with the Quid Pro Quo Light Cone. Most of the time, Yunli will be below 50% energy, making her a consistent target of Quid Pro Quo's effect. For anti-synergy, you wouldn't want Yunli to team up with characters that are good at delaying or preventing enemy actions. For example, Imaginary, Quantum, and Ice Element characters have break effects that delay enemy actions. Overall, Yunli is an extremely strong damage dealer with great survivability and fun mechanics. Should you try to pull or build Yunli if you get the chance? No. Even though Yunli has a higher damage ceiling than Acheron if accounting damage per action value, it doesn't mean that Yunli can reach her peak performance consistently. Just like Clara, Yunli has the same problem of having backloaded damage. Such is the nature of damage dealers that relies on counterattacks. There's also the fact that Yunli's auto-battle performance is subpar. Hopefully this will improve in the future patches, but right now, Yunli's AI would just spam her ultimate blindly instead of smartly parrying enemy attacks. However, you can see value from pulling Yunli if we are to consider how good Clara was for beginners in the early days of HSR. Even if it would take a few cycles, Clara is good at clearing Memory of Chaos with relatively low investment. Then, there's the fact that Clara is able to solo the Stimulated Universe and its other variations. Yunli can do the same. Yunli having a reactive playstyle which focuses on parrying enemy attacks can also spice things up and make your HSR gameplay experience a whole lot better. And that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and I will see you on the next one.